3 million users, 200K DAU, a valuation over 100 million. All this done in less than 5 months.
Yes.
What's the secret behind this?
DAU is number one metrics. We're on a different route. We have to merge something different into the productivity, and we have to find a position which is unique to ourselves and different from ChatGPT and Gemini.
Hey guys, welcome to Epic Connector. Today we have a very special guest, a 100 million AI CEO. And this is not a Silicon Valley giant, but a Singapore AI dream. So today we have Bruce, the CEO of Agnes AI. Bruce, thank you so much for coming. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you very much, Chelsea.
So Bruce, let's start with the big numbers. It's amazing that you reached 3 million users, 200K DAU, as well as a valuation over 100 million, and all this done in less than 5 months.
Yes.
So what's the secret behind this? I guess everyone is curious about your rocket ship growth rate.
Well, I think we have a very strong focus on what matters. And not everybody actually have the kind of consensus. So I think we spend a lot of effort to work on our DAUs. And this is our number one North Star metric. At the same time, we are targeting a market which is very well occupied by all the other players.
Yep.
Not that compared, like we originate from Singapore, we want to at least be the leader of the Southeast Asia. And we also give a try on LATAM, and it looks pretty good. We grow very strongly. So I think by focusing on what's most at the early stage makes us move much faster than other players.
That's fascinating. The numbers speak for itself. Behind every successful company, there must be a compelling founder story. So let's talk about you and how all this got started. Okay. I know that you are almost the embodiment of Singapore dream. You are an elite from like Raffles Institution, then you went to UC Berkeley, then you worked in Silicon Valley at the big names like LinkedIn and Microsoft. Why do you choose to come back to Singapore, and how all this get started?
So when we started to think about doing a startup, I actually had a very long history of doing a startup. In the year of 2014, 11 years from today, I already started my first startup. That's the time when I had 4 years of work experience at Microsoft and LinkedIn. And that was a time when the entire internet consumer still have a huge opportunity. We were seeing precedent players like Snapchat, Instagram. We want to build a similar app. We call it Sober at that time, as a consumer internet product. And at early stage, it does have a very skyrocket growth with close to about 1 million users, 100K DAU. But there was a time where I also realized that being a Chinese entrepreneur in the Valley at that time, doing a consumer app is going to be very difficult. Now, like right now, 10 years later, if you are doing AI product, AI company, if your team do not have a Chinese entrepreneur, a Chinese co-founder, it's not a really AI team. So we face the kind of glass ceiling of being a Chinese entrepreneur in the Valley. It's difficult for us to raise funds at that time. And there's just a lot of competition because in the era of consumer internet, it's very difficult to stand out. The moat is not that strong. You have to have very good operation, very strong growth, and you have to raise money very fast. So we decided not to stay in the Valley for a long time. We decided to come back to Asia. During the COVID, I decided to come back to Singapore to find the next opportunity, pursue my PhD at the same time. And that's where I started Journey Ventures from Singapore.
I see. That's a very honest answer. All the obstacles you face in the Silicon Valley as a China founder. Understand that. I know that your team now is also kind of a Singapore AI elite team. How do you build a team, and what's your strategy for attract talents? Because the talent market is also very competitive.
Very competitive. So if you try to get the talents from the Valley, it's definitely very difficult because they're very highly paid. And in the Valley, it's just the AI hype. The company is very highly valued. That's also another reason we decided to start a company in Singapore. We are able to tap on the talents in the region, I would say. And they're very strong, like how these Chinese teams come up with DeepSeek, Queen, all the open source models. So a couple of co-founders of me are like people on this field have intersections with my life journeys just like how my advisor, PhD advisor, who is also a leader of a research leader of the company. He is a child prodigy, went to Tsinghua at year of 16, become professor at AUS at year of 25. I'm like his first PhD student. We had a lot of discussion about AI while I doing my PhD, and we just have the urge at the point that we need to build something together. That's one of the cases that we are able to attract people of similar minds. There's another very important person, a partner of the team, also on research, who is my classmate back at Berkeley, American Chinese, who went to MIT for his PhD and had a couple of years of work experience in the Valley, but he decided to come to Singapore one day.
Wow.
And when he came to have his job talk at AOS, I was there. Such a coincidence. We never thought that we were going to meet in Singapore back when we were in the Valley. It's just that Singapore has become a hub, attracting a lot of talents, both from China and from US. And we're lucky enough to start this company at an early stage where there's not much of competition in terms of attracting talents. Both of them, Xiaofan and Evan, joined me for this venture. There's also a senior of me, a schoolmate from Raffles. He's the top student of his batch. He was our coach for physics Olympiad at that time. And he joined us as a leader for IR and MPR in the region. And also a couple more, like my Berkeley undergrad classmate, schoolmate, a couple years younger than me. So all of us, we were like different people who we met at different intersections of our lives, who were drawn together by the dream of AI for potential entrepreneurship opportunity starting from Singapore.
Wow, that's a very touching story. Kind of you connect the dots all the way in your life. Yeah.
I didn't even realize it's a vision and the opportunity of AI which brought us all together.
Yeah, the AI dream brought you all together.
Exactly.
So you mentioned a lot of good things about building a startup in Singapore, but I understand that the Singapore market may not be as mature as US and China, so there must be some difficulties. How you overcome all these?
There's not much of consensus in terms of AI right now. Not only limited to the startup founders, but also, include all the investors. It's going to be difficult to tell investors in Singapore that we are valued at this range, despite we're not already undervalued compared to all the other players about the same kind of DAU, same kind of metrics. It's just difficult because AI has become such a new thing. It's very difficult to understand why companies need to value this high. So we did a lot of education work to help boost the ecosystem in the region. I have to go through a lot of, public relations, like publicity of the company. I think the entire ecosystem of Singapore has not come to a stage which is well matured in China and in US, with some of the early success companies already at a very high valuation.
Yeah.
And we have to make a lot of effort to trying to reach through this gap. Another thing which we're trying to do is hiring. So hiring is very difficult to convince a lot of top talents not to pursue a job in the Valley as an engineer, but join a company as an early startup founding team. So we have to find the kind of connections, just like how I did. I have to find my advisor, my PhD advisor, because he knows the most about me. I have to, find my classmate at Berkeley who went to Singapore as a professor at NTU. Luckily, we're pretty lucky to get all this founding team ready at a short period of time, and with all our effort, we start to assemble a team in Singapore who has the kind of capabilities of doing research and building products.
Agnes AI is on the top list of Southeast Asia, Latin American, as well as Middle East. They are like hobbies, language, even payment method or consumer habits may be different.
The entire Southeast Asia is highly segmented because a lot of languages spoken by a lot of people are what we call minority languages.
Yes.
So they are minority languages not because they are spoken by few people, they're actually a lot of people. Like over 100 million people speaking certain language like Filipino, Vietnamese, like Hindi and Bahasa. These languages are not very well catered by ChatGPT and Gemini because of their less representativeness in the training stage because of the lack of corpus in the literature. So we have to put effort by training our own models to have a stronger presence, higher weight for the minority languages, so that the people in these regions feel that they are better catered than the ChatGPT and Gemini. This is a huge opportunity for us. If there's not this kind of lack of support of their natural speaking languages, we don't have a chance to compete with ChatGPT and Gemini in terms of the model providing. And if we're able to have an advantage at the foundational level, like how the models can hear them by speaking their own language, understand their slangs, understand their spoken languages better, we're able to build on top of that the entire agentic systems, agentic workflows, which is also something which is not offered by the ChatGPT. So you can think of us like a regional ChatGPT, but with agentic workflows, like what has offered by Metas. But what we focus a lot is optimizing for the mobile experience, because like 70% of the users in the region, or even higher, are Android users. And there's a lot of young audience who are not even at the working age. So we need to cater this kind of group of users who are new to the markets, who are new to AI, who are new to the AI native social apps. We have an opportunity to become the first love of their life in terms of AI.
Yeah.
So this is our
incredible. That's a master class of strategy in terms of monetization and how to go into the market. Just now you already mentioned a bit of your self-developed model,
Right,
so let's
right.
dive into it. Very few application layer companies would choose to develop their own model because it's a very tough road. Did you make this decision at the beginnings, and what's your strategy or even philosophy behind this?
Well, at the beginning of our development of Agnes, we haven't thought too much about developing our own models.
Yeah.
Despite I know all the experts like Evan, Xiaofan, they're like professors at AUS and NTU. And we have access to all the smart guys from the nation, from the top universities who know the secrets about reinforcement learning, supervised fine-tuning. It's at a stage when we look at the quota usage, it goes so high that becomes a bottleneck for our future growth. It's not the bottleneck because nobody are using it. There are a lot of people using it, trying to spend a lot of quota on our platform, and because we offer them for free, they use it in a very crazy way. There are people who generating slides, thousands pages of slides every month. Just use our product for free. And we have to come to a stage that we decide whether we're going to charge for their spending, reduce the tokens for end customers, or we have to solve it from our side. We decided to solve it from our end because we thought that it's very difficult for people to love your app. If you kind of trying to play with your customer, ask them to spend money or give them lower quota, they might just forget about you. That's why we think the only way to solve the problem is trying to develop, train our own models. And we start to do a process post-training of reinforcement learning with our own design of the universal verifier, which is a evaluator agent, help give a score for all the subjective matters, like how well the research goes, how well the image generated, and how well the PowerPoint is generated. So that way, we are able to train beyond of the distillation of the SOTA models to make us potentially even better than the closed source SOTA models like Gemini or ChatGPT. Through this entire process of post-training with our own data, and we have our own reinforcement learning framework, we call it DSPO, which is refined version of GRPO from DeepSeek. And we actually, our result on the open benchmark perform better than GRPO from DeepSeek. So we are able to train smaller parameter models from open source ones to serve our specific tasks like research, PowerPoint, group chat, writing a news. We have a news feed, and multimodal image generating, video generating, image editing. We have a lot of smaller models, each serving a specific task. That forms the process, the entire system of sovereign AI system built on our proprietary framework and serving for more than half of the traffic for Agnes right now.
Incredible, because you have an amazing like dream team. That's why you get the choice to develop your own models. But I guess
Yeah.
for most of the application layer, they don't have the technology, so they have no choice. You also mentioned that you aim to build an AI product for everyone. Many companies pursue this general AI goal. How do you differentiate from all the other competitors?
Well, it's difficult. I would say at the end of the day, there are not going to be a lot of AI products in the world. But the good thing is, there's still time to potentially strive for place in the AI arena. One of the things which we did is we try to find a market which is not predominantly occupied by the big players, like how the Southeast Asia,
Yeah.
like the TAM regions. These are the regions which normally you don't feel that is well paid off because customers are not spending money on it. But if you don't serve these markets right now, you don't have a chance to serve it because down the road, all the big players will potentially going to occupy this place. So if you look back 10 years ago, when WhatsApp is first invented, it's banned in China. WhatsApp is banned in China.
Yeah.
There are not many people using WhatsApp in the United States. There's Snapchat, there's iMessage, there's Facebook Messenger, but not many people are using WhatsApp. And WhatsApp is designed, developed by a team in Europe. You see the secret. They're not centered in the Valley. They're not a China team. They're somewhere outside of China and US. And this is a product which grew like a weed outside of US and China. We see this could potentially be a very, very similar path for us to follow. If we avoid high-paying markets like the US market, and if we avoid the high competition from China, if we focus on the less focused markets by the other players,
Yeah.
we get a chance to grow very fast at the beginning. Because nobody can spend an effort on it. It's very difficult to grow to ripe any seed you put on this land. But that also means there's very little competition.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things which we do to avoid the kind of competition. The second part, probably going to go through that too. We don't want to stay as a productivity tool.
Yeah.
We don't want to stay as the similar kind of positioning of ChatGPT or Perplexity or Manus.
Yeah.
We want to grab users from the social network,
Yeah.
right? If you don't, we have to be a replacement of some product in the future in order to
Yeah.
grow big
Yeah.
because AI is so disruptive. All the players are trying to compete on the productivity space. Like they're trying to replace the Office suite. They're trying to replace maybe Google in terms of search. They're trying to replace Adobe in terms of design. But very few people are thinking about what we should do to displace players like Meta, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. And for every generation, especially younger ones, they want to have their own platforms. This is how Snapchat could grow in front of Meta in terms of Facebook, right? For the AI native generations, they definitely want something different. Like my daughter, she's at the age of 9. She's not using any social network. She's not on Facebook, not on Instagram, not on Snapchat. And her experience, her behavior of using the products is very different from us. Despite she's very strong, has very strong literature. She speaks English very well. She's a GEP student. She got into the gifted program. She does not write on the smart devices. She does not type on iPhone. She does not type on Android. She does not type on her smartwatch. She only uses voice. Very, very different.
Yeah.
And AI can cater this need very well because AI would understand what you say. It's voice control. AI is the large language model, understand what you are talking about. You don't have to type, you just have to have a voiceover. I would say in terms of social network for new generation, there's definitely something much disruptive coming up. And this is a huge opportunity for us. We don't have to compete on the Red Sea with Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Manus. We can go into a blue sea for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our plan to differentiate.
I'm also a user of Agnes AI. I know that you have group chat,
Yes.
you have kind of ChatGPT, the chatbot, but you also have news feed. It
Yes.
will recommend news for you. What do you think would be the ultimate product like for Agnes AI?
We're doing a lot of experimentation to merging the productivity with social network. So you mentioned about the news feed. All the news are written by AI. If you don't know about that, so we get a lot of information from the news, but the editor is AI, and the editor can cater away for your own language, for your own style, right in your own interests. So this is how AI native news can be different from the original newspapers you read from Straits Times. Right. The second part is on the group chat. Our group chat I like a lot. Within our group chat, you can ask Agnes to summarize for you, do whatever work you want. Agnes understands his role in this group chat. You don't have to tag Agnes. Agnes will try to read whatever you write. And if she feels that she has to talk at this moment, you don't even have to tag Agnes. She will speak for you. And Agnes is getting smarter and smarter because all the training data we get, the training group chat information we get, we want Agnes to speak like a human in the group chat. Mm-hmm. We try to mimic how people are talking in the group chat scenario. And Agnes remembers everything. It has an agentic memory that if you want Agnes to give a summary for what have been discussed for the last 3 days, Agnes can do it in like 3 seconds. If you try to ask somebody else to go through the 3 days communication and try to write a summary, it might take hours. At least tens of minutes. So we do feel that our social features would be something very new and exciting. We want to go beyond the productivity domain to something new, and we're among the first in the world to try to disrupt this field.
Impressive. Now let's zoom out. You are not just building a company, you are also building a piece of Singapore's technology future. Singapore has always wanted to be the global AI hub, but it hasn't reached the objective yet.
Yep.
So how do you view Singapore's standing on the global AI competition, and how do you think Agnes AI is helping to build that standing?
Well, there's a lot of discussion about this topic. There's pros and cons about Singapore in this AI arena. Speaking of the less positive parts, Singapore do not really have the kind of talents like what we see from China and the US, because all the big companies, the knowledge sharing process, like how China have DeepSeek, has Queen, has Tencent, has Kimi, and US you have Anthropic, have OpenAI, have Google. So Singapore is difficult, very, very difficult for Singapore to compete with the other two players alone by itself. This is less positive part. But on the positive side, Singapore could potentially position ourselves as a Switzerland of the AI arena. Because Switzerland is like a neutral player. During the Cold War, there's Soviet Union, there's American, they're trying to have their own brothers, allies. If you stay neutral, you have a chance to become the third biggest player.
Yeah.
And if Singapore does not do it, it has to be something not US and China, right? Mm-hmm. But Singapore has a very strong positioning, very good position to do that, because Singapore is very well connected from both sides, from the eastern side, from the western side, and Singapore has a strong tap on the talents from China. There are a lot of talents from China. We don't even need to get 1%. If we get 1% of the top talents from China, to have them to work for our company in Singapore, to help us build a sovereign AI company in the region, we are already growing very fast. Yeah. And we're already tapping on the advantages on both sides. The talents from China, the kind of customer base outside of China. Yeah. Singapore has a unique position for that.
Yeah, huge potential for Singapore.
Exactly.
Right. If we fast forward to 2030, what do you think the AI sector will look like, and what will Agnes look like?
In 5 years from today, I would say that the landscape will be much brighter in terms of who are the winning players. Yeah. There are not going to be a lot of winning players, maybe very few. Most of the applications only exist at that time because only the best players will unify all the smaller ones. And apps like ChatGPT will try to eat the entire internet by features like instant checkout. It's already, invading the e-commerce sector. Mm-hmm. And like apps in the ChatGPT ChatGPT wants to be a distribution channel,
Yeah.
like the App Store, right?
Yeah.
ChatGPT wants to also enter in the field of entertainment with features like solo app. So we feel that there are a few of these players, AI players in the world, dominating the entire internet and eating up most of the apps from the consumer internet. And we hope that we would be among one of them. Maybe top 10, if not top 5. If we can become a huge dominant players with over 50 million daily active users in 5 years' time, we could potentially be one of the top 5 mainstream apps in the world. And that's why we focus a lot on DAU instead of AI.
Yeah.
If you look from back,
Yeah.
from 5 years later from today, you will know exactly what you need to do, what you need to do for the next 1 year. If you focus on AR, you might get pretty good AR at early stage, but your DAU won't grow. 5 years later, you're still something like maybe almost a million DAU. But what we are looking at in 5 years is 50 million DAUs. And if that's our North Star, that's our number one most important metrics, we should just forget about all the other metrics.
Yeah.
Focus on this number one. Yeah. This
Yeah.
is our opportunity. We need to move as fast as possible.
That's a very interesting perspective because we always hear about ARR, right? But
Right.
some companies may be quite shady in terms of calculating ARR. They never
Understood.
review their like user retention rate or daily active users.
That's
So
true.
it's very impressive. You are focusing on the actual user instead of the revenue.
Thank you very much, Chelsea.
Yeah, you are valued over 100 million now, and this could still be undervalued.
Exactly.
So what is your target for your next round, and what do you think would be the driver for that valuation?
Well, I still think that among all the other factors, DAU is the number one metric. We reach this we're valued at 100 million at something like 200K DAU is because we're not the first player to reach this number. If we are the first player to reach this number with the kind of features which we offer, we have the premium to ask for much higher valuation.
Yeah.
So for the next round of funding, we hope to reach a number at least double or maybe triple, even 5 times of the valuation of what we have reached now.
Yeah.
Something like a million DAU.
Yeah.
That makes us the top player in terms of agentic workflows, agentic AI companies in the world.
Yeah.
We're trying to embrace social app. If we have a unique positioning of social features, high retention with general agent, with mobile usage as a dominant player in most of the emerging countries in the world, and reach a DAU of close or up to 1 million, we are very well positioned to raise the next round of funding, which could potentially at a range of 3 to 5 times of what we are right now. Yeah, so I think this is our target for the next fundraising.
Oh, that's a very powerful vision. I hope you can get the valuation soon.
Yeah, thank you. I hope to reach that number by first quarter next year.
Okay, so that's a add-on question based on the social app and AI assistant you mentioned. I see like ChatGPT, they separate ChatGPT itself and the Sora too.
Yeah.
Very few app would try to combine everything together.
That's true.
What's your rationale behind Agnes' strategy?
We're not competing on the same arena with ChatGPT. If we are like as a dominant player as ChatGPT, and it's like a Gemini,
Yeah.
we won't really bring the social features to Agnes itself. But because we won't be as a big player as ChatGPT, we would always be an underdog if we don't introduce the new features. We are on a different route. We have to merge something different into the productivity too. And we have to find a positioning which is unique to ourselves and different from ChatGPT and Gemini. So I practice calligraphy, right? Chinese calligraphy. If you keep imitating the good ones from old master, you can never exceed it. You have to be different, merge something on some other master, and come up with your own positioning or your own style, so that people will remember you. Definitely, we have to be braver.
Yeah.
We have to be more disruptive. We have to forego some of the users who are like ChatGPT users who don't like us that much, because we need to attract the real crazy users who use us every day.
Yeah.
That's the kind of sacrifice we have to do. That's why we're going to merge the social features into the productivity functions to make it not as a pure productivity app.
Yeah.
Well, there might be people said, okay, if you don't stay as a productivity app, I'm not going to use it. We have to give the kind of sacrifice.
Incredible, incredible. What do you think about the AI bubble now? Do you think there's a bubble?
I think there's a bubble. There's definitely a bubble. That's why, there's a lot of apps at our metrics value like 5 times or 10 times higher than us.
Yeah.
But bubble is not always a bad thing because it definitely points the direction of the future growth. If you don't see the kind of bubble, people won't believe in AI, right?
Yeah.
If you don't see the kind of craziness, you don't get the attention. So we want to ride on the bubble because all the investors are investing money on AI. All the smart people want to work for AI companies.
Yeah.
And AI is at the highest acceptance rate. Everybody is trying at least one AI product sometime in their lives. I don't know. At least for the next couple of years, almost all users will try with at least one AI company once in their spare time. So I definitely want to take full advantage of this bubble, ride on the hype to achieve as much as we can, to build something real, to build something substantial, supported by our real numbers, real use cases, real metrics, and real customer value. If we can take advantage of that, it's like a chicken egg problem. Sometimes you have to bring the value up first before you get the hype, like you bring up the valuation. Sometimes you need to bring up the valuation, you get the money before you can build something crazily good.
Yeah.
And in terms of AI, I think it's the latter. You get all the attention, get all the valuation, get all the money before you have a really good product. And if we don't take this kind of opportunity, the other players are going to take it. And they're not even as good as us. Why don't we take it? That's why I think we should value at relatively high valuation, which will get the right kind of money injected to the company, and we should just move as fast as possible because we are the capable people. We are the qualified contestants in this arena. If we don't compete, wasting our talents. That's the kind of conviction I have in terms of treating AI as a bubble.
That's a good one. Love it. Right on the bubble. Definitely love it. So before we wrap up, let's shift to some of the quick questions. The young people in Southeast Asia or Singapore that want to chase their AI dream, what is the one thing you want to tell them, or how could they benefit from Agnes AI?
Agnes hope to be the #1 most used AI products for the younger generation of any Southeast Asia, but hopefully also include other emerging markets like Latam, MENA, and maybe part of Europe, because we really want to cater the young audience. We're not like the incumbent players, big players like ChatGPT. They have to cater to everyone. We want to cater to a special group of people, like the young audience from the emerging markets. We build the products for these people. We give a lot of quota. We give a lot of freebies. We want them to stick on the platform, to give us feedback about how to build better products, and to grow together with us. And for a lot of people, AI entrepreneurs, we hope you guys can join our ecosystem. Just like how a lot of AI products are within the ecosystem of ChatGPT or Anthropic in the Valley, in the United States. We hope to form similar kind of ecosystems with young AI startups of different kind of categorizations, like e-commerce, payment, agentic workflows for enterprise solutions, to work together with us to build an ecosystem for somewhere outside of US and China. This is our message that we want to get through.
I want to say actually Agnes AI has a very broad vision because you are actually empowering people in less advantaged regions. You are actually helping to improve the inclusion and equity of AI. Not only people in developed market deserve AI, but people in emerging market or less developed market also deserve to use AI with a very low cost, and that's what Agnes AI is trying to help.
That's our vision. That's a broader vision.
That's a very broad vision.
Thank you very much, Chelsea.
People should be grateful that there's like applications like Agnes AI exist to help them use AI better, right?
Exactly.
Okay, that's all for the podcast today. Thank you so much for joining us, Bruce. That's a very
It's
insightful
great talking to
sharing.
you
Yeah.
today.